Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about China's string of pearls. Okay. China's string of pearls is a network of commercial and military bases and ports in many countries which is built by China. Actually, this is not an official term. This is used by all over the world except China because this is not an official activity done by China. Okay. China has been making many commercial as well as military bases and ports in many countries. So China is saying that just making this kind of ports and military bases not as a act of thing for encircling India. Okay, so even though China is claiming that this is not to encircle India or to make any problem for India, this is considered as a China's string of pearls policy towards India in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, so let us see first where it is located. It is having a leverage over 4 main straits in the Indian Ocean region. One is at Strait of Hormuz. Another one is at Strait of Malacca. Then we have Lombok Strait. Another one is Bab al-Mandeb Strait. Okay. If you are looking into the map, you can see Strait of Hormuz here, that is near Middle East and the Asian area. Then between Africa, here you will maybe having Africa here, and here you will be having Middle East. So in between you will have Bab al-Mandeb Strait. These are the two straits. One is Bab al-Mandeb, another one is the Hormuz Strait. Then you have Malacca Strait, which is here between this Malay Peninsula and Indonesia. And the fourth strait is Lombok Strait, which I will be showing you in the larger picture. Here you can see Lombok Strait. Okay. This is Lombok Strait. Here you can see Bali. This is a part of Indonesia. Okay. Here you can see Bali and here you can see the island of Lombok. Okay. In between this Bali and Lombok, you can see Lombok Strait. Okay. So this is the fourth strait which is mentioned here. Okay. So first one is at Bab al-Mandeb. Second one is at Hormuz Strait. Third one is Malacca Strait. And fourth one is below, which is the Lombok Strait. Okay. So while making these ports and naval bases, China will be having a leverage or an eye over all these straits. These are the choke points. Choke point means these are the narrow straits or narrow area which at any time China can block because China is having naval base or port at these areas. Okay, so China has already made different ports at many countries in this Indian Ocean region. One is at Djibouti, which is the African continent country. Djibouti is the one country. Second one is Pakistan. They have Garda port here. Another one is Sri Lanka, Hambantota and Colombo port. Then you have Bangladesh. In Bangladesh also they have built a port, Chittagong port. Then in Myanmar they have Sittaway port. Then Myanmar, another port is called, you may be knowing, Coco Strait. Okay, so above the Andaman Islands, you can see Cocos Island. So in that Cocos Island also they have already made a port. Okay. And in the Maldives also they have made another port. Okay. So in total in all these countries they have made port. One is in Djibouti, another one is in Pakistan, another one is in Maldives. Then you have port in Sri Lanka, Hambantota as well as Colombo port. Then is the Chittagong port of Bangladesh. Then you have Sittaway port in Myanmar as well as in Colombo. Okay, so these are the ports made by China in various countries of Indian Ocean region. If you are looking into the details of these ports, you can see that they have made Colombo port as well as Hambantota port in Sri Lanka. And in case of Hambantota port, you can see that they have took this Hambantota port for lease for about 99 years. Okay, they have been giving technological as well as financial support for building this Hambantota port of Sri Lanka. Then you have Chittagong port of Bangladesh, and this is a container facility port which is also made by China. Then you have a port made by China in Maldives and also in Myanmar. In Myanmar, I told you one is there which is in Cocos Island, and another one is Sittare port. Okay. Then also has a port in Seychelles, which I just skip, because if you are drawing Africa like this, you will be having Madagascar here and you will be having an island called Seychelles here. Okay, so in Djibouti is about here, you will be having Djibouti, and here you will be having Seychelles. Okay, so to these countries of Africa, they have already made ports. Okay, so that is about Seychelles. Another regarding the Djibouti. In Djibouti, China has built a naval base. So this is the first naval base of China, built by China in abroad. Okay, and they have started building this port in 2016, and by 2017 they have finished making this port and they have completed the port. Okay, so this is the first naval base of China abroad. And USA and France also have a naval base in Djibouti. Okay, and the point you have to note is that China has been giving about US dollar 20 million for Djibouti as a rent. So you should understand how important this port is for China. Okay, because China is having a leverage over this Bab el Mandeb Strait. Okay, where most of the naval transportation is taking place. Okay, so they have been giving a large amount of money for Djibouti as a rent for using this port. Next, we will be discussing about the debt trapped policy of China, which is a policy used by China for tackling the countries. Okay, so in this policy, China will be giving a particular amount of money to a particular country. For example, if Sri Lanka, they have given money for making Hambantota port. Okay, so first it will be giving a large amount of money for making a particular port in a particular country, and later if the country is unable to, once the money is borrowed by a particular country, it will have to be paid back, right? So when the time is ready for paying the money back, if that particular country is unable to pay back the money, China will be putting pressure on that country. Either that port will be converted, or that port will be used for naval or military purposes of China, or other important uses of China. Okay, so anyway, China will be putting pressure on that particular country for some kind of advantages of China. Either it will be using for military purpose, or otherwise it will be using for naval base, making as a naval base, or it will be using for some other kind of military activities. Okay, so that is what is the policy of China, which is globally known as debt trapped policy. First, it will be providing money. When the particular country is not unable to pay back the money, it will be providing some kind of options to that particular country. Either it will be using that port for some other uses, or it will be using that port for military activities. Okay, so that is what is the debt trap policy of China. So now let us see what is the impact of string of pearls. It is related to international security, because this port has technologically, we can say that they have already encircled India. Okay, like a string of pearls, these ports has already encircled India. So this will be creating a security problem for India. Another point is that India has been importing oil from Middle East area. Okay, so if China is blocking any of this choke point, it will be creating problem for India to import oil. Okay, so this will be always be a big problem for India, because China is having an eye as well as hand over these choke points. Okay, so it will affect India's oil import to India. Okay, another point is that how it will be affecting the economy of India. Okay, economically India will be affecting indirectly, because if China's presence is there in Indian Ocean region, India definitely will be get alert. Okay, so India's money will be diverted for ensuring the security of India that is in the maritime level. Okay, so the amount of money which will be spending for ensuring the security at the maritime level will be high, and the money will be that we could have used for another purpose will be used here. So that will be causing a loss of money for the other welfare activity. So then likewise India's economy will be affected because we are diverting our precious money for this kind of security activities. Okay, then if we are looking what are the steps that is taken by India against this movement of China. First one is that string of flowers, that is again another unofficial move by India to contain Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region. Okay, the second point is the string of flowers policy we will be discussing in detail in another video. Okay, so I'm not discussing in detail because we will be discussing that in another video. Second point is that Act East policy of India. India has been vigorously involved in making a more relationship with all the East Asian countries. Okay, so if we are having a good relationship with all the neighboring countries of us, which is in the eastern region, that will be able to contain China to an extent. Okay, so we are taking a lot of measures to increase the relationship with all the Southeast as well as Eastern Asian countries. Okay, another one is the coastal surveillance system. We have done a lot of steps to improve the coastal surveillance system, and we have already set up many this coastal surveillance system in many countries. Okay, so that is another step taken by India. Then is the military exercises. Okay, in terms of military exercises, India is already involved in military exercises with many countries like Quad groups, in which India, USA, Japan as well as Australia is involved, and we also have many military exercises with other countries, and there is a list of exercises in which India is involved, and you have to learn all those exercises, which will be I'll be making another video on that all those exercises. Okay, so we have already involved in the military exercises with many other countries also, and in another strategy we have already started making relationship with the north neighbors of China like Mongolia, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, etc. Okay, so China is having a lot of members in the northern area, so we are making a move to be friends with all those northern neighbors of China also. So in an attempt to contain China in its northern frontiers, we will be making more relationship with its northern neighbors, because as China is making a move in our Indian Ocean region. Okay, so that is another strategy made by India to contain China in our area. So these are the steps taken by India for controlling Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region, and this is all about this string of pearls strategy made by the China. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.